Okay, so I am a day late on feeding him, but I just dragged him out from under. He was not showing me his head, so I had to pull him out of his little hidey hole. And he was not too happy with me, but I have to feed him. I'm already a little late on it. But my husband's not here, so give me 1 second and I will be right back with the rat. Okay, so here's his rat. He has no care in the world, the color or anything, but this is his small rat. I'm gonna kneel. He makes me a little jumpy when he does that. But there he goes. Took his rat. My hard hitter. And I don't know if you could hear it, but his teeth scraped the tongs. But took his rat. And I shall leave him just like that to finish it. And then I'll put all his stuff back in there when he's done. Hey guys. Okay, so ignore the hair. I just woke up, I'm sick, and I am today's feed day for all the other ones. So I am going through spraying their tanks, and I'm gonna go and feed them. In the background you hear the hot water going because I am heating up the rats. So they've already been defrosted and warmed up, so now the hot water is gonna give the temperature for to give the heat for the snakes. But you know, I'll go through all the how to heat the rats and stuff in a second. Again, hubby's working, so I'm kind of just doing how I can do it for the video. But I thought right now was a perfect moment to show you what it's like when your snake is in blue. So I'm gonna slowly just pick him up because he already knows the drill, so he thought a rat was gonna come in. So he was ready to strike because even in blue, he still eats, my good boy. Let me flip the camera here. So this is what it looks like when your snake is in blue. So this is the good boy. I posted a video of him eating on Facebook, but they look duller. You can see the eyes look blue and cloudy. So what happens is their eyes start to fill with like a protective liquid. And don't worry, that's just water, guys. And it starts to protect their eyes as the skin begins to shed. So that way the fluid on their eyes will easily help the skin just peel off the eyes. So ignore the dirty dishes, I'm sorry. And hopefully if everything's perfect in the tank, then they will just shed in one piece of skin. Okay, sorry, I put him back in his tank. So here is how I kind of do it. Put the head in the hot water. So out of the freezer, I put the rats in a Ziploc bag, and then I put them in cold water and let them sit. Now, how long they sit in the cold water depends on how big, whether it's a mouse, whether it's a rat. It all depends. Sometimes my small rat, and depending on how frozen they are, I can leave it between 30 to 45 minutes and it'll be soft. So when I say soft, I will physically play with the rat while it's in the Ziploc, bending it, making sure it's, flexible. I can move it, making sure nothing is frozen. And then that's when I know that it is defrosted. Then from there, I do like warm water, and I'll leave it for like 15 minutes just to kind of get the heat going in it and warm it up. And then I put hot water and I'll let it heat up. Now I'm gonna kind of play around, and I won't show it since my husband's not here to kind of record a bit of it. My difficult one, I'm gonna take my time with and kind of play around with some different ideas to see if I can try and get him to eat today. If not, then I'll just continue playing around, see what I need to do. But I won't be showing that this week. And then here are my other rats. So I didn't do an extra one just in case if he doesn't eat, then it will just go to one of my other snakes so it doesn't go to waste. So this should be heated. Give me a second. I'm gonna go get the tongs. So here's the trusty rat. I also got a flashlight to try and help so you guys can see, but he came out to the light, so you'll see him. I'm sorry guys, I got a phone call I couldn't miss. It was for my meds, but you saw me trying to mess with him to get him to take it, and right as I answered the phone call, he struck it when I moved the rat towards him, so he took it. So even when he's in blue, this one still eats. So at least now he'll be fed and I don't have to worry about him. So maybe by the time I go to wet his tank again, maybe he'll have completely shed. If not, I'll just spray him down again. As you could tell, I sprayed him with the sprayer and just wet him to give him some hydration. But if anything, I will, when he's done eating, I will spray him again just to make sure he is wet. And I'll put the rest of his stuff in. I have a small rat for this one. As you could tell, she is waiting and ready. So you will see her charge the door a little bit, ready. So you will see that in a second. So at least that will be an exciting one. Give me a moment. Let me go run the hot water for that rat. Okay guys, so I'm actually very excited, very happy, very stoked. I was a little lazy before, but I'm gonna just show this now. He's already practically done with it. That's as quick. It's maybe what, 2 minutes that I had stopped recording to get my hair dryer while I was heating the small rat for her, which now, as you could tell, she came to the door, so she's not going to be very happy because now I had to go get another frozen rat. But he, my difficult excuse me, my difficult one, who has not eaten since, oh my god, I don't think it's been a month already, but maybe it has. I've lost track because I store it in my notes on my phone. But he hasn't eaten. I'll just say it's been, I think he ate once for me in September, and it was a weaned rat. And this time, thanks to some people from my snake group, you know, they mentioned with his weight, you know, maybe he wants something bigger. And I've tried everything for weeks. I tried weekly, weaned rat, small rat, everything. There he is. Just put that back on top of him. I'll mess with him when he's done eating, so that way he can swallow it. I'm not gonna mess with him because he took it. I've tried everything. I've tried everything. Now you'll get to see the process of me defrosting. Tried everything. You know, my usual heating methods down to, you know, leaving him alone, changing every single color of the rats, whatever I had, everything. Because your snake can be picky down to the color. I've heard people say they don't want the black rats. They only want white rats. Some don't want the white rats. They want the black. Or they want the gray. I mean, none of my snakes have done that. He didn't do that. I can't remember what color rat he ate, to be honest with you. So I can't say. But I let the hot water run. And finally, someone told me, you know, have you tried the hair dryer method? Have you tried this and that? So finally I decided to go get my hair dryer. And boy, what do you know? I turned up the heat on the hair dryer, held the rat in front of the open door, let the hair dryer blow on the rat, let the air flow into his tank, and let it blow like towards where you saw him near the opening of his hide. And he poked his head out, and I prayed that it was because he smells it and wants it. Just grabbing a rat from the freezer. Don't worry, they're in bags. They're not. Some people are skeeved, but this is the part of owning reptiles. You put frozen rats in your freezer. I don't have space to get myself a separate freezer to store rats, so they go in my freezer. I don't care. They're not leaking and, you know, touching my food. They're all in separate baggies. So, and there's nothing touching my food or contaminating it. So, obviously, if they leaked and touched my food, I would get rid of my food. I mean, plain and simple. It is what it is. But that's the part of owning reptiles. Anyway. So, when I come back, there's going to be a small rat in here. Okay. So, I already Ziploc bagged it, sealed this one. I'm going to put it back in the freezer so they don't defrost. But, so he finally ate. I can finally be happy because he was stressing me out, guys. And when I tell you, if you love your snakes, whether they are a pain in the butt or not, they will stress you out. And maybe that's why I kept getting sick. He was stressing me out from not eating. Boy, did he stress me out. Anyway, so as you can see, a small rat for my girl who is anxious in her tank. I juggle. I do not touch these rats, because when you go and touch your snake and you touch these rats, they will mistaken your fingers for a rat because of the scent of the rat on your fingers. So I do not touch these rats. I jiggle them out of their bag and it drops into here. And then I just like them on their back in the Ziploc. And sorry, I am gonna dump the water. It's hard juggling this by myself. Okay. I'm gonna dump the old water. I only need 2 spoons. So I use my biggest, heaviest spoons because when I fill it with water, it tends to float. So these spoons help to hold the rat down in the water and submerge it. So I'm just heating that up. We're gonna feed it to Nagini, who's the girl we built the new enclosure for. And we're gonna see if she'll take it, new enclosure or not. Because sometimes, depending on your snake, when they're new with you, you should leave them alone for 2 weeks. Of course, depending on the snake. If you see that they're comfortable, they're exploring their tank, you could try feeding them. Some snakes don't care and they'll still eat because they want to eat. So you can still keep the schedule and try and feed them and they'll still take it. If they don't take it, that's fine, that's cool. It just means they want time to acclimate and get used to everything with you. So that's also fine too. No harm in it. So we shall see if she could care less. I mean, she's been with me since March. So we shall see if new enclosure or not bothers her. And I'm gonna test it. Give me 1 second while I take this rat out. Okay. Normally she comes out and she goes into a feeding tub. That's how someone else, I mean, I got her from a pet store, so that's how they were taking their snakes out and feeding them. Because, you know, you never want to try and feed your snakes in the same enclosure. Accidents can happen and they'll fight for the same food. She's been showing interest in eating in her enclosure, so I want to do it. I'm going to follow her lead. And I followed her lead. As you saw, she missed. It happens. They get excited. They'll miss it. And then you just put it right to their nose and they'll take it. It happens. But that's why you use tongs. Try and get as long as you can, so your fingers stay away. Because if they miss, that could be your finger. So, she's been showing interest. She struck at me when I went to take her out for 2 weeks straight because she was in food mode. She was ready to eat. So I kind of followed her lead. And once I got her new enclosure together, I wanted to feed her in her enclosure and follow her lead. So I wanted to try it this time, and she took it. She wanted it. So she now wants to eat in her enclosure. Because when I tell you that this girl, when I first got her, she knew to eat in the tub. But if I tried to feed her in her enclosure, she would literally run away and refused the food, no matter what we did. Even when she went on a food strike when we first got her, she would not eat it. I tried the enclosure feed. I tried tub feeding. No matter what, she refused in the enclosure. Until one day, of course, we put her back in the tub. We stuck with the tub, and she ate after her little food strike. And I figured if she ever wants it in her enclosure, she'll tell me. And she did. She started showing me 2 weeks ago. So now she'll also be getting it in her enclosure like everyone else. Let's go put the frozen rat in the cold water so that way we can feed the last one. Okay, so I will show you. I will save this for when I do the... Actually, no, I am done with all that. I'll keep the rat in this one. So, cold water. Now I'm just gonna fill it. And I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes You know, sometimes you may forget, or if you're like me, and if you have to work at night and you feel tired being up in the morning, you may fall asleep. But I'm gonna set a timer here. Sorry, I still need to clean the stove now that I've gotten dishes done. I just need to clean last night's dishes that we made for dinner. Timer, and I'm gonna do 30 minutes. And then we will come back when the timer's done. I will do the warm water. That will be 15 minutes. It's kind of the same thing. Do warm water. I'll show you, and I'll show you how I test the warm water. And then we'll do 15 minutes. Then we'll come back after that. And I can finally show you how she likes to lunge out the door. All right, guys. Oh, I forgot to show, that's the Pokeball I was talking about in one of my other videos. That's a hide. And I'm gonna try and scrub it now that it's been sitting with soapy water in there. Kind of stunk a little bit, so I'm gonna try and clean it. All right, we'll be back. So quickly, this is one of my bowls until I can find a good bowl. But Tupperware works. It's just a water bowl because it's soaked in. And I, you know, bury it deeper into the substrate. But I was mentioning about testing the water so you can give them, you know, water. So, you know, of course, once I stop recording, I go in and, you know, I'll rinse out in here. And then every now and then I do a deep clean of this with soap and water, clean it. And then what I was mentioning about testing the water. So here you can already feel just with your hand, it's too much. You're gonna, I kind of already know where to put it. Here, using my hand, right? So now, I'm gonna stick my elbow. Still too much. Turn it more. I can feel it with my hand whether the temperature goes down or not. And then stick my elbow. Still a little. You gotta realize your snake is all skin. So any little bit of harsh temperature is gonna affect them. So that's perfect. And this is for a Dratini, the one I showed you that was in shed. I'm not gonna fill it too much, just about half, so that way if he ever decides to use the bowl, you know, it's enough for him to just soak and not to drown in. Let me just get the door open. So you probably can't see it, but there's already like a little hole there. Water bowl. Right into that hole. So straight around it. And now I know I mentioned about putting moss. I have to buy more moss so I can put around his bowl. And it's the same thing with this will happen to your door when you freshly spray, like when you freshly mix, because I mixed his substrate like I did when we made Nagini's enclosure over there. This is what happens when you freshly mix. So with all the heat, the humidity builds up. So, you know, I go in and I just wipe the door. So this happens, that'll go away. It's just because it's freshly high humidity. But with him being in shed, I don't care about this. It's perfect for him. He'll shed beautifully. And then with her, she has some moss. But with Maui, his bowl is hidden under his branch that he knocked over. He needs moss. I gotta get more. But that's kind of the gist of when you do it. For feeding, go in, mix their substrate, wet it through the humidity. Like I said, I do it every 2 to 3 days, depending. But when I feed them, I like to immediately spray them, do their tanks, make sure the humidity is good, because after they eat, you cannot, you know, take them out, mess with them, anything. You want to leave them alone for 2 days, 48 hours. Because if not, and you stress them out or anything happens, they can regurgitate. And by regurgitate, I mean they can, you know, throw up their food. And if that happens, it can cause harm and damage to not just their body, but also their throat. And it can harm them. And then from there, you'd have to wait 2 weeks before feeding them. Because at that point, you know, they have some trauma in their system from throwing up the food. So they would need 2 weeks to heal from that. I'm gonna check on Maui, see if he ate it, so I can then go in there, mix up his substrate, move everything around, make sure he's all good and dandy, and spray him. Now that my stubborn boy finally ate, you can see she's still waiting. Right there. And even though she has a hide there, she'll be getting another hide. And she has a hot hide over there. She loves her water bowl, but she will hide under that water bowl. And there's a divot in there, so her whole body just goes under that water bowl. That's literally her favorite spot. And even if I give her this new big hide to put in there, I swear she's probably still gonna be under that water bowl. Even when I give her a third hide, I promise you. But I will come back once we go and do the warm water for the rat. And that's pretty much the gist of what I was saying about what I do for feeding and routine on touching up their tanks, and I spray them as well. So I can show that on what I mean by spraying them when I go to check on him and do his tank, so I can show you. Okay, so I just spot cleaned her tank, took out her poop. As you can see, she's ready. That's my girl. Just so you can see how big she is, because I got to do her water bowl anyway. So let me take her water bowl, even though she's under it, but give her more room. It's my big girl. I'll just shut this door for her. And she was the last one. Never hesitates for food, always waiting. Thought you guys might enjoy seeing her take it down. I'm waiting for her to move and take it down. And it was as if she's been waiting for me to move away so she could take it down. That's how it looks as they work it down. It's the coolest yet most amazing thing ever. So that's feeding. That's what it looks like as I go through my feeding ritual. I'll be able to make a better video on another day when I have my husband with me, or like I said, when I officially get my money, I'll be able to buy a tripod for my phone so I can post it, you know, have it standing somewhere, so that way then I can be able to be hands-free and properly show you guys my whole feeding routine of what I do with all of them. So that is it, and they're all happily fed, and I'm just so happy that finally I looked back into my notes in between the breaks of recording this, and I noticed that it has been a month since my one snake has eaten last with me, and I'm so thrilled that he finally took the rat and ate. Now let's just cross our fingers that when I attempt to do another feed video, or when I attempt to feed him next week, since I don't know if I'll be able to record next week another feed session, but let's cross our fingers that he just sticks with eating weekly now and doesn't continue to skip meals. So I'm just thrilled, just over the moon. Finally, the weight of the world is off my shoulders and I can breathe. So that's the end of it, and I will make a better feeding video the next time when I officially get my tripod. Thanks, guys.